Hey guys, Carlos Samaniego from Tax Debt Consultants. How are you doing? It's been quite some time since I've been on here, at least a month or a month and a half or so, since the end of last year. And, it's been a rough 30 days, 6 weeks. As many of you guys know, if you're getting my emails or seeing my posts, we got back from Hawaii, at the end of last year, was right around Thanksgiving time. I wasn't feeling the greatest. In fact, I ended up getting a really bad cold, flu. It wasn't COVID, but ended up getting a really bad cold and flu. And after that, I was kind of really low energy. Even had a lot of body aches. I mean, I just wasn't feeling good. And you know that feeling. Some brain fog was really kind of affected me pretty dramatically. And I just wasn't feeling good at all. And of course, I did what every person shouldn't do. And what I started doing, I got onto Dr. Internet, Google, and started kind of typing in my symptoms and what was happening. And, that's the worst thing you could possibly do when you got a problem, such as a serious problem, such as a possible medical problem, or even a financial problem, tax problem, trying to figure out, how do you solve it? And sometimes you need a real professional to deal with it. But going down this rabbit hole, I literally, as I'm doing this so-called research, I started literally thinking, well, maybe I got diabetes. I'm not the thinnest guy in the world, right? Maybe I got kidney disease. Maybe I got a prostate issue. Everything in the world that you could imagine I thought was wrong literally was going through my head. And for me, it was kind of creating a lot of anxiety. I'm just like, oh my God, what if this happens? What if that happens to me? What's my family going to do? My business? I mean, everything kind of goes through your head. And I'm pretty sure you realize, what you can do to yourself when you have this worry on top of your head. It just became literally a mental nightmare. And then I finally said enough was enough. You know what? I needed to take my own advice. And I literally went and ordered a full comprehensive blood test and urinalysis. And nowadays you can do that. I actually went to Quest. There's two major labs, LabCorp and Quest. I went to Quest and looked up the test, and they had it's called a full men's comprehensive health profile, blood tests and urinalysis. I got my results right here. I'm looking at. So I go there and I ordered this test. It wasn't the cheapest, but I ordered it, and I just needed to get this done. So ended up, I literally, when I ordered it, I was able to get a spot the following day. And then you have to fast. I ended up fasting 24 hours for this thing. And there was a lot of relief there. The relief was at least I was doing something. So if something was happening to me, I was going to at least get it figured out and get the right professionals to be able to help me deal with the problem that I'm dealing with. And it was interesting because 24 hours later, I'm sitting here in the office and my cell phone rings. It just rang here a few minutes ago. Cell phone rings and it says, hi, this is Dr. So-and-so. I'd like to talk to you about your blood results. I completely panicked. I'm like, oh my God, why is the doctor calling me about my blood results? Something must be wrong. And Liz, for those of you guys that know, she sits behind me, my wife, was sitting there. I jumped up and I ran into the hallway because if I was going to take the impact of this news or pass out, I don't know. Maybe I just wanted to be able to prepare myself to tell her. So he calls me, and I was completely floored by what he actually said. He actually said that my health results compared to the last time, my blood and urinalysis compared to the last time I took it, was dramatically better, which kind of shocked me. I'm almost like, are you sure that's true? And I'm like, why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? And he said, well, there was a number that really kind of concerned us. Your vitamin D levels are extremely low, in the low 20s. And I believe the normal range for this was between 30 to 80 or 40 to 80. I forgot the exact number. You can look it up, but it was in the low 20s. And he says, you know what? Do you go out in the sun? Do you get in the sun? And I don't. I'm not the person that likes being in the sun. I hate being in the sun. When I go to the beach, I'm in the shade, with the umbrella and things like that. So he recommended, I take some vitamin D supplements. So I ended up doing that, and literally within about 4 or 5 days, I literally felt dramatically better. Now, I don't know if it's from the vitamin D supplementation, or was it because I no longer had this anxiety that I had all these ailments going on in my life. And you're probably wondering, why, Carlos, why are you sharing all this information about your personal health results? And the reason I'm doing that is because this is no different than dealing with the tax problem. I see it time and time again where people who haven't filed returns or owe a large amount of money to the IRS or the state, and they haven't dealt with it in years. And what's going through their head, and I know I've been there, is all these things are going to happen to me because I'm not dealing with it, because I haven't filed my tax returns, because I owe all this money to the IRS. And when they finally come to me, kind of like I went to the doctor or went to the labs to order this test and got to speak to a doctor, one of the biggest things that you can do to solve your tax problem, and it's why we do it the way we do it, is we have to find out what the problem is. What is the underlying issues that you're dealing with? And I'm looking at some of my notes. I want to make sure I cover everything. We want to know, how sick are you from a tax point of view? If you kind of get my drift, comparing it to the blood test. So the first step that we always do, we file the power of attorney with the IRS and or the state that you're dealing with. That way we can get a full diagnostic of exactly what your tax problem is. We want to know what the problem is so we know how to best treat the problem and not create problems that you shouldn't have or future problems. We literally do a deep dive into what tax returns have been filed, what hasn't been filed. Is there tax debt that's going to expire? I have a client right now where we're working on a strategy because he's got like $50,000 of tax debt that expires in a few months. So we got to make sure we do the correct thing so that can expire for him. We need to find out, do you qualify for a first-time penalty abatement? What tax returns need to be filed? And guess what? All those questions are actually dramatically different with this when we're dealing with the state issue. Do we have to deal with the state issue before we deal with the IRS issue? Because they will tend to come after you so much faster. So bottom line is that we need to find out what's lurking. What's almost knocked my water down. What's lurking in the shadows so we know how to solve your problem. Bottom line, here's what we do, guys. We don't guess. We test, we diagnose, then we treat your problem. Exactly like I did for what I thought was a medical problem I was doing it. Instead of guessing, that's what I was doing on the internet, trying to guess what I had. I got tested, got my bloods, got my urinalysis, looked at the actual results, and then spoke with the doctor with what's the best treatment plan to deal with the issues that we have. Now, the main issue I had was vitamin D. There's a few numbers on here that can be better. They're better than they were 3 years ago, but they could be better. So I now have a game plan on my health and how to solve my long-term health so I can maximize and be around for my grandchild that's coming here in April, to be around for my children. Still got a daughter in high school. I want to be around. And I want you guys to be around financially for your families. Be there to be able to support them and to fulfill your dreams. So, if you're ready, if you're fed up with the guessing game on how do I deal with this, you know what? We can give you a clear diagnosis of what your tax problem is. We can do that for you. Now, you may use this to actually complete the entire process. I may give you a diagnosis that says you ain't got a problem. You just got to file some tax returns. That's the best news I love giving people. So if you're ready to stop ignoring those tax problems, like ignoring a health issue, and you just want it to go away, let me do the blood work on your taxes. I'm ready to do that. And I'm excited to be back. I'm going to try to do more of these videos now that I'm feeling much better. But you know, let's just. I'm here for you guys. I really am. I want to be here for you. Although tax problems, even your tax problems, creates a little bit of stress in my life. But I enjoy that stress. I enjoy being able to help you. And I'm a real person with a real office. You can book an appointment to sit in front of me. If you're across the country and don't want to fly here, we can do a Zoom call. Here we are. We will be talking. And I'm really, really, really happy to be back. And God, this feels good just being able to talk to you guys. So from my house to your house, I'm happy nothing major is happening. I know a lot of people out there dealing with severe, not only tax problems, financial, but with health problems. And you know what? If we can prevent any of that stuff by the proper planning, the proper plan, I'm ready to help you guys. Bye-bye for now.